What's up guys, Roscoe here, and today we are talking about Fox shocks. I've had a lot of questions recently and I've been wanting to start a video series that is kind of just raw, a little bit uncut of me talking about the products I use and why I use them. And we're calling it Why in 5 with Roscoe. So the why of why products I think are great, why I think you should use them, why I use them, of course. So, and just educating you guys, because you can take a snowmobile and if you do the wrong things to it or set it up wrong, you can ruin it and make it a worse performing snowmobile. So just trying to understand what is worth your money, what is worth your time, because we only get a limited number of days on the snow. So we want to have fun out there and we want to do it right. This is Why in 5. I'm going to set a stopwatch here. I have a feeling that this is going to take more than 5 minutes. Suspension is it's a big one, and we could dive into it big time. We could go to level 10 out of 10 and talk about compression and valving and all of this crazy stuff, but we're gonna just tone it back. We're gonna go about a 5 out of 10 and talk about mostly why the snowmobile should have aftermarket suspension and why I choose to run aftermarket suspension. So we're gonna start the clock here. Why with 5, Fox shocks. Good luck, Roscoe. You're gonna need it. Okay, so guys, this is my 2021 850-155 Chaos. So the Chaos has a little bit steeper rail profile in the rear skid. It makes that front end a little bit lighter and a longer front track shock. So that kind of helps that geometry and changes the way the sled rides a little bit. For a rider like me, it makes the snowmobile a little bit more fun. If you're a really, really technical tree rider, it makes it sometimes a little bit more challenging because that front end is not as planted. I have the Fox IQS shocks on here. They are the pinnacle, top of the line, bad boy, coolest, dopest, techiest shock that Fox makes. I absolutely love them. I think they're incredible. They're expensive, yes, but the features are really cool. What IQS is it stands for Intelligent Quick Switch. It's kind of the big brother to QS3, which is Quick Switch 3. Which allows you to have different settings at the flip of a switch on your suspension. You can just change it from soft, medium, firm, and lockout. The only difference is with IQS, I have it at the handlebar. So I can change it via button on the fly, mid-line. I can look up and go, I wanna go up that thing, boom, lock out my suspension on the handlebar, turn and go up. If I'm feeling really savvy with it that day, mid-line, I can say, oh, I'm gonna go sidle over there, and I could turn it to 2 and do a bow tie and hop over and craziness. You might say, Roscoe, I don't do hop overs and bow ties and all that crazy stuff. Do I need this for that? Well, here's what you can do. So how many of us have to ride a lot of trail to get into where we're riding? I don't know very many people that just park their truck and start riding in the trees, right? We all have a little bit of trail riding to get in and it gets rough. And that's the first thing that we're gonna talk about when it comes to aftermarket suspension. So with something like IQS or QS3s that Fox offers, you can turn it to 1 when you're going down the trail, nice and soft through all the chatter, just cruising down the trail, buttery smooth. Then you're gonna go play a little bit, maybe the snow's a little bit firmer that day, or it's that 10 inches of snow and you're gonna hit some pillows and be bopping over logs. You can turn them to 2, get them a little bit firmer with QS3. But then IQS, as you're going down the trail, you want to go up, you just hit the button there, or you're going to go do some pow turns. So it allows you to kind of change all of that on the fly. Now QS3 does as well. It's a cheaper option. It actually gives you more customization because you can change them to whatever you want. I only have 4 modes. Now those 4 modes are the only modes I need. They're perfectly designed for my riding and 99% of everybody's riding, because what Fox did was they thought of what are riders going to get into, what situations, and what should their suspension do in these situations. So you have soft, medium, firm, and then lockout. And soft, medium, firm are exactly what they are. All the shock all of the shocks get stiffer with each setting. And then lockout is the rear track shock goes into lockout mode, which is like extra stiff. It will help that front end stay down, and then the front shocks actually stay soft so that you can have that mobility and turning. So it really makes it a monster in the trees and the technical terrain. That's what it's designed for. It's designed to go up, get to the top, and get the job done. But going back to suspension, why do we need it? Why should we spend the money on it? Because it is expensive. I'm gonna use my dad as an example. He is the king of stock snowmobiles. He will buy a snowmobile. He might put a can on it, He might put some bags on it, but then he's gonna buy Fox shocks and put shocks on it. I finally got him on the shock train 4 or 5 years ago. He's on his second or third set now. He is sold because of the performance that it gives him. It is really a big deal. We all have to ride trails going in, and it helps a lot there, right? The OEs have to build a snowmobile that is really good at everything that it does in one suspension package for all of the riders, right? That's the goal, and they do a good job of it. But if you're an aggressive rider, you're going to maybe want more out of your suspension. And if you're watching this video, you're probably saying, I need more out of my suspension. I need it to be better. And I'm really curious about Fox's, or you're just curious in general. Now, some people don't need to upgrade their suspension, but you're watching this video, right? So you're probably curious, or you just want to know. But if you're watching the video, they ain't cutting it. We need some heavier valving. We need something to go get the job done, and that's why we're here. So just what the suspension allows you to do is, the factory stuff is top of the line, designed by riders for riders. If it has the Brandt sticker on it, that means that Chris spent a lot of days tuning and creating calibrations for the snowmobile. I know, I've been on those trips comparing notes with him on his suspension and how it should be tuned, and going back and forth. And then throughout the season, sending notes to Fox. Fox is sending us test shocks that has different internals. How does this work? How does that work? Try these pressures, all of the things to end up with a shock like this. So a lot of work goes into it, and it's not just a sticker. Yeah, so let's break down kind of how does the snowmobile need to react in the snow with suspension. Now, the first thing is when we want to go up, I talked about that lockout mode a little bit, right? We need deep snow performance. These are deep snow machines. And the first thing that deep snow throws at us is, hey, you're going to get stuck a lot if you aren't on top of the snow and going forward. So having that suspension that can climb up on top, not compress too much, and dig is very important. Now, the rear track shock it's kind of simple to think about the rear track shock, because the stiffer it is, the easier it's going to climb on top of the snow. As it compresses, it's going to want to dig a little bit more. Now, what that does is it changes its relationship with the front track shock. What the front track shock does is it has the approach angle, the attack angle on the snow. Now, a deeper or a steeper approach angle is something that is going to lift the front end more. It's going to bite a little bit harder and not crawl on top of the snow. That's why the Chaos is considered the fun sled, right? Has a steeper approach angle, longer front track shock, all of those things. That's why I ride a Chaos, because it makes it a fun snowmobile. Do you sacrifice a little bit of deep snow performance and technical riding performance? Just a little bit. Some sleds are worse than others. Some are, depending on how you set it up, depending on how you set up your Fox shocks. So, for example, if you're at a 155 and you want to go uphill, you're going to run 50 pounds in that front track shock, 50 PSI. If you want it to be a little bit more playful, I run mine like 55. If you ride a 163, turn it up to 60 pounds, because that's a longer track, you can have a little bit more pressure in that front track shock, so the sled doesn't feel as heavy, and it will still do the job really well. But so you can kind of tune that a little bit, right? And my recommendation when it comes to shocks is, if you're going to do a little bit of tuning on your own, on the air side of things, 10 pounds is about something that you can feel. So adjusting 10 pounds at a time, 1 or 2 pounds, you aren't going to feel it. But if you go from 140 to 150, you're going to be able to feel that and understand if you like it or not, or if it's doing the right things for you. Fox offers obviously a couple different shock packages. We have some spring packages now as well. I actually haven't ridden those yet. I'm still on the Air train. Obviously I have the IQS, they're the Air shock. And the beautiful thing about the Air shock is it's infinite. It has infinite adjustability in what you want to do when it comes to air pressures. So you can put whatever you need in it and it's going to work for you. Now, to be honest with you guys, when we would sell shocks, 99% of the guys, we would set them up or send them pressures, and that's what they run, because we're all trying to do the same thing. We're going to weigh a little bit different here or there, and that might change some pressures a little bit, but the sled is going to react relatively the same way, and we're all trying to get the job done. And ultimately, from rider to rider, we talk a lot, especially, the pros out there. We talk, what are you running? Do you like this? Why do you like this? And we all come up with pretty close suspension numbers. That's kind of something that, you have that customization, but what we do need is that quick switch, the ability to change our compression when we're going down the trail and then we're getting in the deep stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm gonna hit this jump right here, boom, lock everything out, or make it really firm, and you're not bottoming out, so it can handle those hits. Now, when it comes to this Fox suspension line, you can't go wrong, right? They are a very high level shock. They are head and shoulders above what come from the factory on these snowmobiles. That's what I always tell guys is, they're like, well, what should I buy? I'm like, well, here's what I would recommend, but don't be afraid. You're not going to regret any purchase. I've never seen anybody give them back, say, these things suck, I don't want this suspension. And if you put the shocks on, you go, I don't know if these are working too good, go ride a stock sled again, and you will remember very quickly how they are performing differently. So I'm obviously a believer in the Fox shocks. I stand by my statement of saying that they are the number one thing I would do to a snowmobile. And the pressures that I'm running on this sled this year, because you guys are going to ask, I'm running in the fronts, I'm running 75 in the main chamber, 115 in the EVOL chamber. In the front track shock, I'm running 55 PSI, and then in the rear track shock, I'm running 30 in the main chamber and 40 in the EVOL chamber. So that's kind of a fun, a little bit stiffer setup. You can hit some jumps, you can do some whip, that kind of stuff. If you guys might want a little bit softer setup, a front track shock could be a little bit softer as well for getting on top of the snow. That's just kind of where I'm at as an aggressive rider. But hey, even if you're not an aggressive rider, even if you're a weekend warrior, you only get so many days on the snow, and I hope you want to have fun out there, right? You want your sled to perform well. And I know that we're way over 5 minutes. I've been ranting. We're at 12. So that's about all I got for you guys. I hope that answered some questions. I don't know, I kind of got lost, classic. That's what you do when you just turn me loose on a topic. That's the gist of it right here. So stand by Foxes, they're amazing shocks and they work really, really well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And please be subscribed. I know there's like the stat, I need to look at the stat again, but there's a crazy amount of you guys that are watching this video that aren't subscribed. So just drop a subscription, turn on the bell notification. So that means when I go drop a video, you will watch it, or you don't have to watch it, but you know I dropped one, so then you might go watch it. It's 2021. I promised you guys I'd be back with videos. I have vlogs coming. Life is crazy, but we're back at it. We're gonna do some more videos like this, so maybe let me know what other videos you'd like to see. A lot of guys are asking about these new Ice Age Elevate spindles that I'm really excited about. I'm doing one of those videos real quick. Appreciate it, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Share the video, help me spread the message, and maybe get yourself some Fox shocks. If you're gonna get Fox shocks for Polaris, be sure to check out Brandt's Backcountry Adventure. Still love those guys over there, and they are the guys when it comes to Polaris shock. Or just go to ridefox.com. They have all of their shocks, all of the information there, and you guys can figure out what you need, no matter the make or model of your snowmobile. We're all out there trying to get power turns. It doesn't matter what you're riding.